All right, recording too, because apparently this thing only has a limit, and I filled it up. We're over 30-minute mark, so I'll make sure I post these together. But anyway, before that one cut off there, I was just saying with Tampa, Brady's Brady, but Tampa's had drops, and things like that. Defense has been a little they're kind of middle of the road this year. So we'll see what happens. I think it'll be a good game. I can see the Rams winning it. I won't be surprised if the Rams win it. I'll go with Tampa in this one. Tampa's favored by 2.5. I mean, if they do win 2.5, it's not bad. I mean, that's basically almost a pick 'em game. You figure they're going to win by a field goal. So we'll go with that. And then what I think should be the game of the weekend will be the Bills Chiefs. Now, hell, I thought the game of the weekend was going to be Bills Pats, and I thought Rams Cardinals had potential as well, and both those games ended up being blowouts. So we'll see what the hell happens. But you got Josh Allen versus Pat Mahomes here. Right now KC favored by 2.5. Once again, if you think KC is going to win the game, you might as well just take the 2.5. Should win by a field goal. The Bills have been a little up and down this season as well. I mean, the Bills got beat by the Patriots on that Monday night game when the wind was blowing 120 miles an hour there in Buffalo. When Mac Jones threw 3 freaking passes and completed one of them. Jacksonville beat. I think it was Jacksonville. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure it was Jacksonville that beat Buffalo earlier this year. It's like, how do you lose to Jacksonville? All right. The thing about the Chiefs, and this is what could hurt the Chiefs if the Chiefs do end up losing this game, the Chiefs are notoriously slow starters. Like, for whatever reason, it takes the Chiefs a while to get going. Like, their first quarter suck. And then comes second quarter, and then especially after the second half, it's like Pat Mahomes just starts throwing dimes. All right, like first quarter, he can't hit anything. All right, and then people are dropping passes, and defense sucks and everything. And the next thing I know, and then it's like, but they're like a boxer, like that has to get hit first. And so they'll go down there, score. I mean, hell, the Chiefs were down to the Steelers 7-0 in that game. All right, the Steelers scored first. You're sitting there going, how the Chiefs down 7-0, and then they blew the doors off the Steelers. All right, they just came out and just. So that's the problem with the Chiefs is if they do start slow, and they do get behind, if Buffalo can keep its foot on the gas, and that's going to be the key, can Buffalo keep the foot on the gas? But if they can keep the foot on the gas and KC starts slow, that's how Buffalo wins this game. Like I said, KC is minus 2.5. I feel the same way about this game. Won't be surprised one bit if the Bills end up pulling this thing out and upsetting the Chiefs. It will not be a big upset by any stretch of the imagination. But if the Chiefs end up winning it too, like I said, it could end up being a good game. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so that's your NFL games for this weekend in the middle of the right here in the middle of the in the playoffs. And finally, I guess here for our last little topic. Well, I got the MLB lockout going on right now, and for you baseball fans, you gotta think. This is optimistic baseball fan. You gotta think that both the owners and the players, neither one of them want to lose money. Neither one of them want to lose games. Neither one of them don't want to have the fans pissed at them. Neither one of them want to lose fans and damage the sport. So you figure that they've got to get a deal done, and they've got to get a deal done before spring training starts. All right. Now, the last NFL lockout a few years ago, when that happened, I said they will have a deal done before training camp starts. All right. Nobody's going to want to miss games. Nobody's going to want to miss money. They don't want to piss the fans off. They'll have a deal in place before training camp starts. It did come down to the wire, but they did get a deal done. Now, granted, it was like a week before training camp started, so they end up losing like a preseason game. They ended up having a shortened training camp at that point, but we got a full 16-game schedule. All right, and everything. The season started on time. You got to think baseball will do something similar. They might wait until the 1st of February or until a week before spring training is supposed to start. And spring training, of course, is usually about 6 weeks. Maybe they knock a couple weeks off of it. All right, maybe you have a shortened spring training, but you get a full 162 in. Season starts on time. All right, that's the hope. Pessimistic baseball fan is the owners and the players. They are so far apart that getting a deal done is going to be damn near impossible. Right now, the owners have all the power. They don't want to give any more power to the players. There's economics involved with service time and a bunch of other stuff, and team control, and teams tanking, not being competitive, things of that nature that's going on. But it seems like both sides are throwing proposals. Neither side's taking the other side's proposals seriously. So pessimistic baseball fan is very much of the opinion that not only is spring training not going to happen, but the season's not going to start on time. And if it doesn't start on time, how many games are we going to lose? When's the season actually going to start? And I have no idea. All right. So fingers crossed that they get a deal done. But if they don't get a deal done, I will not be the least bit surprised, because you saw it with 2020 with the pandemic. All right. They could have gotten more games in, but there was the whole thing with proration. There was the whole thing with this, that, and the other, and the only reason we got a 60-game season in 2020 is because Manfred had the power to do it. All right. And he said, if all else fails, I can institute a 60-game season, and he did. All right. Which is only which is like a third of the baseball season. And that was it. Okay. And so that's all we got. So hopefully that's not the case there. So, even if it doesn't start on time, maybe, we only lose a week or something and play at least like 154 or something like that. So we'll see what happens with that. So that's what's going on with baseball right now. It's going to be sad. So we'll see. But we got the divisional round of NFL playoffs this week. Of course, NBA still going, NHL still going. The Olympics start on February the 3rd if you're into the Winter Olympics. And like I said, I'm a sports junkie. I will be watching curling. I will be watching biathlon. I will be watching downhill skiing, bobsled, skeleton, luge, figure skating. I don't care. Ice dancing. All right. If it's on, I'm going to freaking watch it. All right. And so we'll see what's going to happen with that. I think that's pretty much all I've got. Once again, let me give you the. Hold on a second. As I stall here, let me take a drink. Yeah, let me get into my phone here. All right. I want to make sure my Twitter handle is right. I just set it up. But Twitter is the name of it is Jolting Joe Sports Show. That's Jolting, Jolting, Joe, Joe, and then of course Sports with an S, show there at the end. And you can find me at JJ Sports Show 63. That is 63. And that's because that's my old high school football number. All right, so at JJ Sports Show 63, Jolting Joe Sports Twitter, at Twitter. They're on Twitter, and hopefully be watching the games this weekend, tweeting a little bit and things like that. So you can follow me there as well. And like I said, hopefully we'll see you. We'll do this again next week. See how everything goes. If there's any other big news or anything like that coming out. So once again, this is the very first show. This is episode 1 of the Jolting Joe Sports Show. And like I said, hopefully we can get some of my friends on here, talk a little sports and all that fun stuff. And remember, smoke them if you got them, drink it if you got it. And on that note, y'all have a good weekend. Enjoy the NFL playoffs, and cheers.